Friday.
Scared me.
Well, I don't want to do traditional intros anymore.
Okay.
I mean, we are more of a podcast than we certainly are a radio show.
Yeah.
You know, I left the radio years behind me, and one of the things, and you used to clown on me, you don't really clown on me as much anymore because I think I'm better, but I still have kind of clung to, and I think it's a security blanket almost, a lot of these like old school radio styled crutches that you fall back on to kill time when you're trying to just talk into a microphone.
I give out the number, introductions.
Weather, reset it. Oh, who's here? How you feeling? Oh, what'd you eat for lunch? You know, just small talk, dumb crap.
I remember when Jim Phillips told you, like, he listened to some interview, and he's like, you have to...
Yeah, he did.
You have to tell the audience who you're speaking to, because that was an old
It's
radio
a true story
thing where you don't know when the audience gets in their car and turns on the radio. So if it's in the middle of a conversation, they need to be reminded who the guest is, and like that's an old school thing.
But we weren't doing that.
No, because
I mean, I guess for ACT you could make an argument that, but
no reason to ever
most
do
of the people that listen to our show are podcast people anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but I'm trying to find naturally, and that's the hard thing. I'm trying to naturally find a new way to intro the show.
You could just go right into it, I guess. Though
that would scare you, though.
You do. No, I'll get used to it.
Tell you ahead of time.
Wait, we don't do the typical outro, so why are we doing the typical intro?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
now
you just go right into it. You just start talking. Like, start off with the voicemail.
Do you want me to try that?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done that. So
because there already are, like, Casey edits like Dan Stone intros, like you're lucid at corporate time,
yeah.
you know. So it's like
it's
already
usually
in
like a little piece, and it's like, like being rich is baby. It's like you're listening to a corporate time, and it's just like that.
Yeah.
So I don't need to go. Welcome back to a corporate time. You already know you're back.
And I feel like too that
doing this on the air too is the stuff this is the good stuff the listeners never get to hear.
Yeah.
The grit.
There's also that thing where which voice, who's Tom, who's Dan, the listeners need to know, so they, but I like
you can go to YouTube and watch the videos, and then you'd know because it's
true,
the little guy is Dan and the bigger guy is Tom and the girl is Sam.
Yeah.
And then Travis is in the background putting stuff in bags.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
I'm the dumb one. Daniel has the voice that's kind of M-word a little bit.
Okay. There's so many different abbreviations I didn't know.
That pitch
Does
of
it
an
really?
M-word.
I've never. No one's ever told me that.
No, I've never heard that either.
It's like
like that.
Yeah. It's not all that way. It's not all that.
I slip in and out of it.
No, it's just a little bit.
So occasionally I'll be like, "Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan."
It's like you lived in M-wordville and
picked it up,
but you moved here when you were 13.
Okay.
So now you're in your 40s. So you lost most of your accent.
I was born in England. Occasionally I'll dip your toe into.
Yeah. It's like Butler. Like every once in a while.
I've never heard him go British.
When he talks to a British person, he does.
Does he?
Yeah, that's
his
his
dad
chopper.
calls him. Oh, you're wrong, mama, you're wrong.
We're gonna talk about this on this AMT, this Friday's AMT. But Butler said,
"Wait, what's AMT? Which one is that?"
That's the Friday Free
show.
one.
The Friday Free show,
uncensored. Yeah.
The uncensored one. Where can people hear that?
Too hot for radio.
I just got to text him, Jim Phillips. He said, "You got to tell people."
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. If you can't even bother to even look 1 second, then you're not gonna like it. So
you know, a truer thing has never been said. That's true.
Butler said that he would slip into an island accent.
No, he was
don't
culturally appropriating.
Yeah, that's what
on
choppers.
his vacation.
That's what choppers do.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves.
That's what Chet Hanks did. He's the Chet Hanks of our show.
Chet Hanks, Chopper Hanks.
Yeah,
Chopper Chet.
But most of our gay black listeners think Chet Hanks is a snack.
That's true.
Well, one does.
And you know what?
I took
it.
He's not an unattractive
I
man.
took
He's
it
just
into
an idiot.
consideration, and I looked at Chet Hanks with like black gay eyes, and I have to
handsome.
agree. Yeah, he's not a bad looking guy. If he keeps his mouth shut, I see exactly what Ron's saying.
Yeah.
He's a good looking dude. He's in great shape, and he comes from exquisite genes.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes from America's
If you just
closest
shut the hell
royalty.
up.
Yeah, if you just shut your mouth, and you know what? I'll even go a step further. You can still do your hip hop. You can still do your rap because that's just you. You're just
don't
doing
say
your
the
music.
N-word.
Don't say the
Yeah,
N-word.
leave that part out.
And don't pretend to be Jamaican
No,
at
don't do
award
that.
shows because he did that one time, and that was really weird.
I like
Blood
that.
clot.
I like when people do that.
Yeah, you say that all the time. Every time Tom's in there, he'll be looking at a screen and be blood clot.
If anybody pretends to be anybody else, I laugh at it. I'm an idiot. So most of us they're like, ha ha, whatever. Like no one cares.
You know what makes you laugh more than anything, though? Yeah. And I found this out this week. Are fat football kickers.
Listening to this week's ACT show from Tuesday with the Nerd Jock segment with EJ. You guys are talking about Chungus kickers. And the discussion should start and finish with Sebastian Janikowski. As a Chungus kicker myself in high school, Sebastian Janikowski was the guy who you looked up to. He was this big, burly Polish guy who actually went to Seabreeze High School here in Daytona Beach. And
goddamn, feed your dog, Chungus.
Honestly.
God.
Guy was a fucking monster. And he even got in trouble when he went to Florida State for trying to bribe police officers and have these crazy off-the-field antics. The guy was incredible, kicking-wise, though.
Was Janikowski Chungus?
Seabass.
I am looking at pictures. He's a bigger boy, but I would not classify him a Chungus.
He's just thick. Yeah, he's not like that Chungus, the kicker we saw.
We met a punter. We met Johnny Townsend. Came in here, used to play for the Raiders and got picked up, I believe, by the Giants, and I don't know where he is now. Played for UF. He was a very large man. So, yeah, if you've never seen
he's just a fit,
tall
but he
was a
athlete.
Big dude, you know, like big man.
Big he was tall and athletic, but not
fat. No.
Yeah, that college kicker we were talking about was Chungus.
Was chubbier, yeah.
Seabass.
He was also 5'5", that guy that we were talking about.
Yeah,
so when you're bigger and short.
What's Johnny Townsend, like 6'4", 6'3"? He was big.
He was at least 6.
ripped,
Yeah, he was a big dude.
Janikowski's 260 pounds.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
But he's tall.
Yeah, I think he's
Let's see, how tall is he?
6.
Yeah, I don't think we said that you couldn't be a bigger guy and do it. We just were trying to find out the correct equation because there is one. There is a optimum equation for length of body, weight of leg, and then you have to factor in your
6'1".
Then you got to factor in your the way you kick, right? Then your style. But I would imagine that there is a perfect body size in science, or a better one, right? No?
Well, there's probably an optimal one, and there's one in every position. Kicker might be a little bit weird because that has a lot to do with just pure form, power, and technique.
It's like a golf swing at some point, right?
Yeah.
It's like you know how to operate the club to get maximum amount of energy out of your leg.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned, because like a golf swing, you can be tall and medium, and I don't know if that really affects it that much.
That's interesting, yeah. Like Ian
your
Woods,
technique was more like, again, Tiger Woods is not a huge guy. If you could somehow hit the ball 50 yards further, being above 6 foot, you'd see a lot more above 6 foot golfers because they would just go there. You know.
Samantha, look up Ian Woosnam. He's a golfer. Ian Woosnam. I believe he is a miniature man of a golfer. Like, I want to say he's like
5'4".
Yeah, he's little.
Yeah,
and he was awesome.
So you may be able to.
His nickname was Wussy.
Or
Woozy?
Probably
W-O-O-S-I-E?
He was a big.
Woozy?
What's that one where we? With Skin Games where you play. It's like Ryder Cup where it's like U.S. versus Britain and England.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's one of the guys on the England team and really good. And I think he would, There you go, little guy.
And I think, like, obviously if you're 6'3", you could probably crush or drive the ball 25 yards further than the 5'3" guy or whatever it is. But then if your technique and your skill will make that up, I'm saying, like if you were able to do 100 yards further, you have a real advantage. But 25 yards is kind of like, like you need to get it on the green. It's like it's probably not giving you that much of an advantage. Speaking of golf, I thought this was interesting. So all the news was I guess they finished the investigation for the Tiger Woods accident.
How'd that go?
Well,
he was hauling ass.
They just said he was speeding, and that was the cause of the accident.
You didn't think that it was like, speeding is speeding.
He was going 40 miles over the speed limit.
That's excessive.
That is very excessive.
It's reckless driving.
It's still speeding, but it was going way too fast, and that was the I guess at the end of the investigation the cause. But what I found interesting is they also said, well, we had no reason to believe that there was any sort of alcohol. We didn't smell alcohol. There was none in the car or drugs, but there was no also blood test or any other investigation. And I wondered if that's obviously you got Tiger Woods involved, which actually makes it more under a microscope, which leads me to believe they would test it if they normally did that. But because there was nobody else involved in the accident, and it was a single car accident, maybe the protocol is like if there's no evidence towards that's
what they said in the press conference.
BS. He didn't even get a citation for this.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's totally BS.
And by the way, he can afford the citation.
Yeah, but there's no way.
Well, he may get a reckless driving.
No, he got nothing.
He got nothing.
It
literally says in here he got nothing.
I'm almost positive he got nothing because, if you think about it, I don't think there's anybody here that if we had an accident like that, we would at least get cited. You
Absolutely.
get cited for something.
Well, if there's nobody that's if there's no property ruined, or
if you break the law and cause an accident and have to have police show up, you're getting citations for sure.
You're causing your own accident. Maybe there's one of those things where all right, if there's nobody on the other side, I know I've seen people that crash into someone's fence and then there or something like that, and there's property damage involved, then maybe you have to go through the protocol of citing the person because that person has to the property owner has to have some sort of citation and able to get their money from the insurance, so that kind of thing.
Right.
But if it's just
you would need a paper trail at that point.
You flew off the road and you rolled your car and there's nobody else involved with that, maybe it's just one of those deals where it's all right, you broke your car, it's your fault.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's nobody else. There's no other passenger in the car. It's just you. I don't know.
I would say this. I'm 44 years of age. I think it is impossible to drive. This is just my opinion. I believe it is impossible to drive 40 miles over the speed limit, have the police investigate and realize that you drove 40 miles over the speed limit, and then have nothing happen to you. I feel like that's preferential treatment, and that's weird.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I know of anybody of what you're saying. I've heard of small little instances. Yeah, he backed into this. He did that. Yeah. Oh, sure. And it's a thing where there's more that's happening. It's 40 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah.
You can't even make an argument that he wasn't endangering anybody else.
Driving.
Yeah, you're endangering everybody else on the road at that point.
How do you not even get a citation for, at the minimum, reckless driving?
I guess
because you're Tiger Woods.
Well, what I'm saying, actually, I would think that because it was Tiger Woods, they'd be there would be more of a microscope. They'd have to go by the letter of the
paid
law.
him off,
well,
bro,
I think
I'm telling
that
he quote donated to the department.
I think that you will probably see that happen now because I think most people will be like, "Well, that's not cool."
But
what do you do? Why are you allowed to do
right.
that?
Well, that's why I think, and I would, it would make me believe that that's protocol. Because everybody's looking at it. It's like if you could do it if nobody's looking at it, but if the whole world's looking at it, then you'd have to follow. You know what I'm saying?
They're not really saying that though. When in the press conference that I saw, where it gets muddy is he's not saying he's alluding to it being protocol. What you're saying, at least what I saw, the guy that I don't even know who it was. I just saw it in passing, but he was like, "Yeah, we saw no reason to give a citation." Well, it's one thing to say that. It's another.
How do you see no reason?
Yeah, because no, he goes through exactly what Tom is saying.
Right. No one else was hurt. Yeah.
My point is that when did that happen? Because I've never heard of that ever happening in any other case other than this one. Because
I've and we know people that have flipped their car in some rural road, and then they were drunk. So they ran home or whatever, and then started drinking. So when the cops found
that one, but to me that's different.
Well, that they didn't get anything for flipping your car. You would obviously you're reckless driving or something happened. I don't even.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's almost like you would need some sort of level of proof. I guess I don't know. I'm speaking on things I don't know. Do I think it's fair? No. Do I think that Tiger Woods should be cited? Absolutely, I do. I don't think you should be allowed to drive 40 miles over the speed limit, flip your car. You could have killed multiple people. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
You should be cited for that. You
Right.
can't drive like that.
I
But
have no idea.
if you don't have the proof, maybe the way that it's always been is, hey, we weren't here, we didn't see it. We can't really prove that you were
They
doing
said
that.
under California law, they typically require either an independent witness or a law enforcement officer to witness the excessive speed. So even though they can prove
there
it
you
after
go.
the accident, you have to have an eyewitness,
Well,
there you go.
apparently, to get cited.
You can have an investigator give his theory about how fast he was driving based on tire tracks and
No,
and the amount
I
of,
think
you
they
know.
pulled like the computer in his car because they could tell that he was accelerating the whole time.
I don't know. I have no
God.
idea. Yeah, like I don't know if
That
they
guy,
can go
get
in
that
and
Geico
start.
computer app.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway,
That's nuts. Is
The
he, now, where's he at now? Because I find the whole story is completely fascinating.
just
Is
at
he-
home recovering.
Yeah, but is he like, I mean, he's like keeping low profile. I mean, his injuries are still extremely bad, right?
yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Broke his legs.
Yeah, that could be the end of his career. I mean,
Yeah. That it seems like it would be hard to come back from this and all his other health problems as far as his back and everything. Like,
That's bad.
You watch that documentary, Barely Walk, when he's playing. You know what I'm saying? He's had multiple back surgeries. His knees are all messed up.
yeah, it's brutal.
His lower right leg, the tibia and the fibula, had been broken in multiple places and were open fractures, meaning
Yeah.
the bones had pierced the skin.
Yeah, he had a lot of the really
Bad.
Yeah, they interviewed some guy that was like first on the scene. The guy was like, "Yo, it was gruesome."
Based on how like many surgeries Tiger Woods has had, and like that documentary, I hadn't really heard about other golfers suffering from as much like back and knee problems as him. Now I know it's all subjective because it's all based on your own genetics and your own lifestyle and training method, all
Wear
that
and
stuff.
tear.
Wear and
Did you
tear.
take care of yourself?
Everybody's different, but it seems like he suffered way worse as far as golf-related problems than most golfers I've heard of, right? It's like you had Jack Nicklaus, and you don't think, oh, he could barely walk now. He's like an old football player.
Do you
know?
wonder if it's because he's literally done it his entire
No,
life?
that's the
since he was a
theory that
child?
some
Yeah.
people have. The theory that
Or
some
he
people
pushed himself too
Right.
hard.
That's the theory that I've heard. The theory that I've heard. You bring up something that like people have even mentioned before in other golf areas. They talk about like and the ability for him to thrive. Right? Let's say he's beaten those odds so many times, right? Because he's that guy. So of course he has more injuries because he pushes himself harder in normal scenarios.
You would just think, and I know that he's had a longer athletic career than someone like a Jerry Rice, right?
Right,
But
right.
like Jerry Rice is.
Jerry Rice looks good as hell.
yeah.
Have you seen him lately?
And
He's on
also-
Madden. They have him
also-
on Madden because they give awards. And you look at the guy; he's young as hell.
And he played during a time where there was no rules about hitting someone over the middle, like what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
So people were laying receivers out.
He
and,
talks
like,
about it.
and so it was a rougher time when he played. So how many times has Jerry Rice been tackled? Thousands of times, and probably hundreds were super hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this guy's walking around fine. Jerry Rice is fine. Like Jerry Rice can run faster than all of us right now.
Oh
easily.
my God!
Yeah.
And I don't know how old he is. It was 50s, mid 50s.
Yeah, but let's say-
So why? And like Jerry Rice seemingly doesn't have the extensive. Now, obviously, without I'm saying pre-car crash, but the injuries.
Well, like athletic math, then, right? Let's do that. So does 1,000 tackles equal or is less than 1 million golf swings?
Well,
You know what I mean? Like the golf swing could be more detrimental to your bones or arthritis and wearing down your whatever.
Well,
Like,
the
is that
train.
what it-
I mean, Jerry Rice is not only the tackles. Like he trained all he was one of the wide receivers that trained more than ever. Like that guy. He was.
But is
that
it like
guy.
MMA versus boxing in the way that, sure, golf is a great low impact sport, but if you take it to the level like Tiger Woods is doing it, where
I don't know, he's just swinging. Swinging
I don't
clubs.
know.
That you think that
I can't do it.
running routes.
I'm too stiff to swing a golf club, man. I
So
look
is
like
Tom. I saw that video.
I look like a weirdo.
That showed me that I'm like that is a naturally stiff. Like
Yeah.
that's a weird. Now you
You
have
go
a
to
problem.
this Pilates studio down
I'm
there.
thinking about doing it. You want to do it with me?
You get flexible.
No, I'll just do some drugs or something.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
right.
not doing-
You're right.
I'm
Thanks
not
for
doing
waking
that.
me up.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'll do like some sort of drug that naturally relaxes my
Poppers. You can do some poppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open up. Then I'll start BFing you. Let's try this. Let's try this one.
Yo, BDM Neil. So I'm responding to your guys talking about me going to Puerto Rico to the dentist. So yeah, I am actually half Puerto Rican. My grandma's 100%. She lives in Yauco, the Ciudad de Café. So yeah, I do speak Spanish too pretty fluently as well. I can write and read it better than I can pretty much speak it. But yeah, that's why we went over there, because my mom was like, oh, we've all had stuff done with this dude. This guy's awesome. My grandma definitely knew him. And yeah, she just paid him straight up cash. So, and then like, they were like, yeah, we'll do a deal if you do cash, like all the time. And that happens a lot in, other countries. But for sure, Puerto Rico, if you pay cash, they hook you up. But,
there you go.
All right. I would like to go for international procedures to save money one day. Like, I don't know what kind of
What do
procedure.
you want to get done? You were talking about your braces. We could get you some Puerto Rican braces.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Boricua braces?
I bet that.
No, he wants leg braces. He wants to bow his legs. He wants to bow his legs like a bull rider.
When I start doing heavy plastic surgery,
You're going to look like mucho Omar. What's that guy's name? I forgot. What's his name?
Oh, God. What is his
I
name?
love mucho
I just
Omar.
bought that shirt, by the way.
I'm going to buy
mucho
it.
mediocre.
Mucho mediocre.
Walter Mercado.
Walter Mercado.
You're going to look exactly like big-lipped.
Because
You're already working on the poof.
You
hair.
have his hair. I was talking to I got my hair cut today by our barber, and I was talking about how your hair is bigger and more luxurious than ever. I feel every day I walk in here, I feel like I'm at the Orlando headdress ball. You have these grandiose flippy doos. So let's work on the Would you get Botox with me as a joke for the show? It goes away.
It takes a while, and like I don't want to go
Let's
as a
smooth
joke.
out our faces. Come on.
You get
right
the
before
lion
the land
face.
cruise. Let's smooth our faces out, and then let's tan. Let's start tanning.
I don't know why you turn into a lion, but maybe
They shoot you with lion's blood.
Maybe we're just thinking of the Cowardly Lion.
Yes.
And then the prosthetics that and then if you get Botox, it
accentuates
poofs
the cheekbone.
Yeah, it cheeks you up.
It poofs your cheeks.
You
and
can
then
I don't
get
need poofy
cheek
cheeks.
injections.
I'm trying to lose, like my face is skinnier now, and I like the way I look in the mirror. I'm like, that's the man I love.
Oh, yeah, that's where you gotta pull it tighter, just by a little bit.
Yeah, I suck in my cheeks when I take pictures like this.
But you got to start now, actually, because that's the key. Is you start.
You guys are already kind of late.
Yeah.
No, we can get on it.
I'm 39.
We can get on
I
it.
can get on.
You're 39? Oh my
Holding on
God.
to them 30s.
I could inject my crow's feet out. That's what
I
you do.
never
first.
noticed your
Botox?
crow's feet.
I don't really have. I still have a young man.
I
face.
find men that have crow's feet but have a tan on their face extremely attractive.
Oh.
I'm serious. Like what he's getting right now is very much like my dad have. You start looking a little bit more like my dad, and we're gonna have some effed up fantasies in here.
But I don't know why that.
That's a weird statement.
I'll cut that out.
What does that
I'll
mean?
cut that part
I
out.
think that's,
Yeah. No,
I don't have to leave everything in. I'm part owner of this company.
What you said was bad for business.
I heard.
It makes it crazy.
Almost makes people think that I was like in love in some weird way and wanted to make love to my father, which is not true. Who would say something like that? Let's go to this one.
Okay.
Palate
Hey
cleanser.
gang, it's Zach from Ohio. So for work, I drive a really big Mercedes Sprinter. It's like 9 feet tall, really long, and obviously when I back up, I put it in reverse. It has the beep, beep, beep thing so that people know I'm there. Now, they do the same thing in, I've seen it in grocery stores, like the people that drive around the motorized scooters or whatever. When they put it in reverse, it'll make that like beeping noise. That seems incredibly unnecessary to me. And it's almost like they're somebody who designed it was just fucking with the people, because they're usually overweight people that are driving them.
No, I've actually seen, that's necessary. I've actually seen people drive over people driving those.
Yeah,
They're
that's
dangerous.
I mean, I guess it's so you don't get your feet driven over or whatever. Like that would
Your ankle
crush
or-
your toes. I mean,
Especially if there's a fat person in it, it's going to weigh more.
I feel like they do that anyway. I feel like they slam on the gas before the beeping even starts. Has anyone else noticed that? Especially at theme parks?
I'm taking
Yeah,
offense
yeah.
to you using the term they for fat people.
I just meant anyone in one of
I'm
those.
just screwing around.
I remember when me and the Grizz worked at Home Depot and we drove around the damn forklifts and they have metal tires, right? They're just a flat,
It's a flat,
tiny,
shiny metal
tire.
Crushing machine.
And we were going to run over one of each other's feet, like
Work
the toes. To sue.
Man, I knew there's a reason we're in business together.
And we
Is that
never.
why you have black toes?
No, we never got the balls to do it.
Don't talk about his black toes.
and-
Next thing you know, it'll be him versus Butler in a snowboard off.
I
And
saw
then
that.
one-
Crystal got real upset about that.
Yeah.
Well, Butler says, you know what that
He's
guy.
chopping crazy.
I'm already started my figuring out how to do the snowboard off, and I think we're gonna do it at Winter Park
I'm
Ski
going to
Club.
take lessons of snowboard there. I
Are we
think I'm
going
going
to TikTok that?
The snowboard?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
I want to learn how to do both. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm doing it for
I know.
exercise. I'm not doing it for any reason other than knowledge.
But anyway,
I got 2 class credits.
we were gonna, never got around to running each other's feet over.
You and the Grizz.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's run Butler's feet over for thinking he's better at snowboarding than you.
I was just mad because Butler's like, you know what causes that?
Your boots are too loose.
I'll tell you what
got
caused
loose boots.
your toe injury, which I already know. I didn't, that's what made me mad because.
Choppers love to tell you things you already know.
Did you already
Well,
know
he
it?
told me wrong because my shoe was too small. He's like, that's because your shoe's too big. And
He
that's
said he
what
had
made
loose boots. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Loose
so,
boot Larry over here.
Anyway, my feet are 2 different sizes.
Oh,
Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler is on me stuffing the bags.
Yeah. For our event,
Baggy Butler over there.
our gift bags. I have a story about that.
Indeed.
About cleaning out the old storage.
You do?
Oh, it's bad.
I
You know
knew
what's
it.
weird
I knew
is
it.
that
That's
you-
why you didn't want anyone to go with you.
There's a lot of
Well, he
stuff.
didn't want anybody to go with him because he had to make a detour and shop for snowboard boots on his
Yeah.
way to the unit. And Butler was trying to tell him how to buy new snowboard boots,
Yeah.
and they're getting into a fight. You know I'm going to bring this up every day, right?
yeah.
Because I loved it. I loved it so much.
So, speaking of snowboard boots,
Yeah!
we have one of our fine sponsors. It's a watering hole.
Indeed.
They have been with us for a long time.
Indeed. They make the libation that is most consumed by our listeners.
Yes, and they make delicious beer. From Bug Nutty Brewing Company in the heart of the Cocoa Village.
Yeah. Historic Cocoa Village.
We have John on the line. How you doing, John?
Pretty good. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Oh, good, man. What's new in beer land? How are things at Bug Nutty?
Well, they're getting better for sure. A lot of new stuff happening around here. Got some new seating out back of the building so people can finally sit down and enjoy beer outside with their family, friends, and pets.
Nice.
So, well, John, let's talk about that because obviously, I think some of the people hit hardest were restaurants and breweries.
Oh, I kind of feel like tap rooms were run through the mill a bit.
Yeah. And we with all the different regulations, people were scrambling to try to figure out a way to do business.
And
it
they
was-
would change the, just talking to a lot of our brewer friends, they would
Yeah.
change the guidelines like almost weekly.
So, for you, John, how was it? I mean, what was your feeling when the pandemic hit? And tell us about what it was like owning a small brewery during a pandemic.
Well, it was pretty bizarre to say the least. We started. It started right before one of our biggest events, and that's our St. Patrick's Day party that we
Right.
have. We make a beer for that, and so we didn't get to have that. And then we had no customers. We were able to stay open for takeout, which was great. But we had to, lay off all of our employees because it was just me and Steve, my partner, working. Thank God for our customers that we have. They were awesome. They would come in as much as they could, buy as much as they could take home, and that was awesome. That really got us through.
Yeah, your
But-
regulars, the people that depend on you for fresh beer, for, stuff that they know the owner, they know
Yeah.
who's making it. It was up to a lot of the regulars to prop up bars and tap rooms because it got real dicey.
That's what I did see, and it's like, how after a hurricane, and you see people come together in the community to help each other. It's like,
you share some gas, help the guy get the branches out of his yard.
And, so when the pandemic hit, besides from the never-ending fighting online, but if you don't look online, if you just lived your life
As a human,
a human in reality, what I saw were people trying to
people.
support the small businesses that they were used to supporting and going above and beyond to help them and maybe buy extra this week or do what they could. And if you looked at that, it was happening everywhere, and it really was a testament that, all right, humans are good.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what you see online, it's like people want to help their neighbors and people want to help the businesses that they like. And that, you know, if you're going to take some positive out of that, you at least saw the good in humanity.
Yeah, John, you got to see that firsthand, right? Like with your regulars.
Yeah, we did. When we had a couple, too, people that were, you know, a little more paranoid than others, and we made special times for them to come in when nobody else was going to be in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they could pick up their beers. I mean, because they were coming in, some of these people were coming in and dropping $200 and $300 on a packaged beer. I go, that's, you know, and then we'd see them again in a week. I'm like, I don't know what you're drinking at home or what you're doing here, but you're sure buying a lot of beer.
No, but
Well,
a lot of my
people were
guys would
buying
share.
extra, yeah.
They would share. Like my guys would go, like, you know, to breweries that are, like, at least my neighbors would go to breweries and they'd kind of stock up, and then I'd stock up, and then we'd kind of share things depending on where we were at. Now, tell us about. Now, I don't know how you guys handled it last year. I mean, obviously, it would have been around the time of the pandemic, but you do a yearly release of Sputnik, which is a Russian Imperial Stout, and you're doing that on the 12th. So did you do, I'm going to assume you did it last year. Was it different? Or are you doing it differently this year?
Well, this year we'll just be open normal because we can be open normal, so that's awesome. Last year, we had just everybody show up on the 12th that wanted to buy pack, because we package them in 22-ounce bombers, so we only do 60 a year. So you come in, you can get it in the bomber. Everything's labeled. Some people have them from the first year we started doing it, like 5 years ago. And they'll buy 6 or whatever, and they'll drink some and save some. So last year everything was just packaged to go. This year, you know, unfortunately it's a Monday, but we're open, so everybody can come in. We have 5 gallons of last year's batch left over, so you'll be able to have last year's and this year's at the same time.
Oh, nice. Little comparison.
So, a Russian Imperial Stout sounds like a real man beer to me because that's like
it's a dark beer, I believe.
Yeah, it's a good 12%er.
Wow. But it's just like, if someone's like, what would you like a beer? I want a Russian Imperial Stout. It's just like, you're not like, I Michelob Light, please. You know, but that's a real goddamn man drink.
Well, you've seen a Russian hat.
Yeah.
They don't BS with their hats. It's a big giant hat. It's meant to keep you warm. You stick it on you. It's like you have a bear head now. That's what this beer is. They don't mess around with their beers either. It's like, you want, it's Yuri's night, April 12th. You want this big bomber. You go there. You drink yourself one. Then you got to give yourself at least 2 hours if you're me before you can drive home.
So, John, what makes it? Is it just a name, or is a particular like ingredient that makes it Russian? Like
no, the beer was actually made for the Princess Catherine or something of Russia, but it was designed in England. So they made this beer for the Russian family and brought it over. That's how it started. So it's not really from Russia, but it's it was made for them.
Interesting.
Huh. What, did you find some ancient recipe and then like model it after that?
No, my partner Steve, his wife doesn't like beer so much, but he started homebrewing this about 20 years ago, and turns out she likes dark beers. So he just kept on brewing it. And when he bought into Bugnutty, I go, why don't we just have that on? We brewed it like the 8th of January one year, and we were going to release it in a couple of months, so let it age a little bit. And I said, why don't we wait and do it on Yuri's night? Because it ties in with Russia, and Yuri was the first person in space, and he's from Russia, so...
I love it. Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. And it's funny because a lot of people will throw out a term like, I don't like beer. Well, you haven't had enough styles. Because there's a beer for you. Like, my wife doesn't like beer, but she can't say that because she loves sours.
Yeah.
Sours are her favorite beers.
Yeah, so sometimes we get people in here, well, I don't like dark beers. So we give them a dark beer. Here, try this dark beer. Because we always have some sort of stout on or and they're like, that's great. Well, I said, did you like coffee? Because that's pretty much what you're drinking.
Yeah.
Well, it's also different when you're getting it fresh at the tap room, at the brewery.
That's true.
So, it's like it changes everything when you're using fresh ingredients, and you can actually shake the hand of the person who made it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, or a lot of bit different, I should say.
John, how many times have you seen someone that had some sort of like just cheapo bad beer, and then from that point forward, they made the proclamation in their head that they don't like with like dark beer or IPAs or whatever, thinking that every one of the millions of different styles of like a IPA or a darker beer is going to taste like the one it's so different. The spectrum is gigantic.
That's why craft beer exploded.
Because I mean we get a lot of that. And I have people in my family. I don't like beer. I go, did you have you had any good beer? I mean, what have you had? You know, they tell me. I'm like, well, try this, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I like beer, especially IPAs. People are like, oh, I hate IPAs. To have you. What did you have? One IPA that you didn't like, and then now all IPAs are terrible. So
and there's different variations of IPAs. There's pale ales in it, but I don't need to tell you this. But what I do need to tell our guys, April 12th, it's Yuri's night. Limited amount of this particular beer. So if you're a guy and you like to collect this kind of stuff, just make sure you hit them up and get some of this. They are open, which is great. Congratulations on finally being open. I mean, it's really, really nice to see these things start popping up.
Yeah, and where can people follow you on social media and stuff? Because I'm sure you put out all your new releases on your social.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter is Bug Nutty Brew, and then on Facebook it's Bug Nutty Brewing Company.
Cool. Well, John, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Good luck on your event on Monday. If you have any beer left over,
we like beer, and
maybe we can arrange something.
Thank you for being a watering hole. It means more than you know, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Take care.
See you, John.
Very cool talking to people that get to make beer.
It's good to see guys like John and other bar sponsors and watering holes starting it feels like you could hear the relief in their voice. Man, I was just talking to them 6 months ago.
And do me a favor.
Stressed out.
I don't know how people feel about it, but do me. I'm talking collectively, blanket statement.
Mm-hmm.
Just do me a favor and everybody try to be cool as we do these openings.
Yeah.
Keep your tempers in check. Be cool with people. If you see something that you might deem reckless, but just everybody keep their temper in check.
Be cool, bro.
Just be cool, bro. Rules do apply.
Oh yeah.
This is weird. This whole rollout thing is weird because you got some people who are like, oh, you shouldn't be doing it. Some people are like, we're not safe enough. Some people are too safe. Just be cool.
Yeah.
Be cool. Have a beer. Have a couple sips of your beer. If you want to keep your mask on in between sips, do it. Do it.
So I've been watching this space show on Apple TV. And have you heard about it?
It's called an
Star
iPhone.
Wars.
He calls his phone an Apple TV. No, I'm kidding.
It's basically about the moon landing, but it basically is like one of these shows that has an alternate reality, but it's based on history. But they changed.
Oh, like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Oh,
Well, not to the SuperSnatural, but they
SuperSnatchural. That's awesome. Yes, SuperSnatchural.
That's my website.
That's ghost porn.
It's basically the show's about if Russia landed on the moon first.
Oh, so it's like Superman Red Son.
I have heard about that. Yeah.
And
how it would have changed their country?
Yes, and how it would have changed our like NASA and our space program and everything,
Says
and what we would have done.
exploring the possibilities that might exist if the global space race had continued and where humanity would be now.
That's kind of cool.
They've kind of skewed reality too, and made it where imagine if all of a sudden the advancement of women's rights and all of a sudden they basically made the story where there was they sent
what if we were doing this right?
Yeah, what
if the patriarchy fell?
So it's what's interesting about this is as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know whether to enjoy an alternate reality where I'm like, wow, look how good it could have been if people were better, right? Or if it's doing a disservice by portraying something that could have never happened back then.
Right.
Like they in the show, not to spoil it.
Utopia in a lot of ways is there are not many paths to get there, right?
So yeah, it's like
very difficult to achieve.
Although it's nice watching that without seeing the realities of hate and bigotry and things that actually would have happened.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sexism and stuff.
Just by design, it's pleasing, right?
But then again, it's like you don't want to erase and not acknowledge what actually did happen, and
You don't want to forget about it.
But
right?
you're not.
Yeah.
You're portraying
You
an
can't.
alternate reality. So
Right.
it goes back and forth. But
For someone like you, I would say the answer to your question is you cannot, because your brain does not allow you to lay dormant inside an alternate reality without having at least a flickering glimmer, a tiny flame of logic that will wake you up and snap you out of that. Now, me, on the other hand, I think I can go in and navigate it, much like Martin Short in Inner Space. I can
Love
get
that
right.
movie.
I can get right in there, tiny myself out. I'm floating all in there, and I'm all in. I'm all invincible. Put on the goggles. Give me the Sims. I'm in it, and I'm part of it.
is that the
I've acquiesced. I'm part of it now. It's part of me. Where do I begin? Where does it end? You can't do that. You're too logical. You're not a cartoon boy like I am.
yeah.
You're not a. You have a great imagination too, which is what's weird.
It's although.
Do you hate your own imagination?
Yes, I do. I don't think so. I'm like, why am I thinking about this? Stupid. Like, that's what I'd say in my
Well,
head.
you're good at it. You're a unicorn, man. You're a way bigger weirdo than I am. I'm just a P word. You're just a weirdo.
It's P word and weirdo in the morning. All right,
Well, what's
bye-bye.
Sam? Yeah.
SuperSnatural.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God, we're a vaudeville show now. We're here. We're back.
What are you guys up to?
We're
Corporate
here.
time.
Hi.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that we should all fall? Okay, that's how we do it. We fall in like, whoa!
Hello.
Yeah.
ASMR.
We should have that. The old cartoon fall down the stairs. Yeah. But it's like you fell down with a
With a
Pots and pans.
was
It's always
wondering-
like pots and
No,
pans.
you had a hubcap on your head.
or like you're like in the marching band, you were like a
Yeah.
yeah.
Symbol.
The big what's that? The big bass drum guy fell down the stairs with the cymbals.
Why was he having both? Here, I have one. This, like a. Oh my God!
Whoa.
This one.
Oh.
Animation fall.
That's like falling down a hole.
That's it. That's how.
No, not that one.
That's how we get into the show now.
if
So,
the- no.
so when it's like,
It's the goofy
and
guy.
welcome back to our corporate time with Tom and Dan. Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. No,
I don't like
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
You're falling down the elevator shaft because you came up the elevator in the intro.
I'm already over it.
Okay.
So you've been watching Cheers.
Yes.
I want to hate this.
Okay.
Because it.
Well, you hate everything I do,
Yeah. And
including the things you say I do right, which is like I feel like I'm being gaslit all the time here.
so, to me, because I like watching reruns of The Office, right? But it's because I watched The Office at the time that it came out.
That's the same for me and Cheers.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
So you have to do that because I imagine if I watched Cheers, all the jokes wouldn't land because it was for a society that is past, and I don't have any nostalgia. So I'm gonna look at it and be like, all these jokes are dumb.
No,
I don't relate to
They're
them.
pretty generic on the surface. They're not very specific and timely. They don't do a lot of like.
I mean, is it well written?
I think so. Yeah.
It's
I definitely think so, and I think the characters are really good. And I think that's probably where they excelled the most, is that they started this thing where you didn't know who the star was. You know, it was an ensemble cast, but if you go down the line, you could make an argument for almost every main character in Cheers being the main character of Cheers.
so. But
And at one point in time, they probably were in at least one or more episodes.
so Sam Malone, bartender, his
Main character, if you wanted to argue,
Yeah.
that's your guy.
and then his girlfriend who also worked there, right?
Diane Chambers.
And she was a bartender as well.
Well, she was how do you put it? She was like, I believe, a wealthy daughter, like a daughter of a wealthy family, went to school, a reader, and an artiste, a person who loves literature and art and higher culture and dance and the theater, like that type of person. I don't know what you want to call that.
What,
Educated?
Did she work there?
Yeah, but not because she wants to, but because it's basically where she's landed.
Guy, she was a starving artist, has no job.
Kind of, yeah. That's the vibe I got.
So then Norm He was just a local alcoholic that just
hated his wife. The wife is mentioned. Wife is very mentioned a lot, but you don't see her. Hates his wife. She always refers to her either being ugly or fat, and consumes between 12 to 25 beers per episode.
And was he who's the mailman?
That is Cliff Clavin.
Okay, Cliff was just another alcoholic mailman that went.
Not necessarily an alcoholic, a know-it-all mailman, i.e. Tom Van of the show.
Well, he's in the bar every single day.
But after a shift, I mean, like,
Yeah,
I
You
don't
drink every single night.
Yeah, well,
but you
boy.
don't see him with as many beers as Norm. You can see how they
At the
did that. I
bar.
bet you they did that purposely. Plus, he's wearing his uniform at the bar, which, if I'm just being Danny knows a lot, I don't think you're allowed to do that. I think if you are a letter carrier, Cliff Clavin, sorry, but myth busted, I don't think you're allowed to go to saddle up at the bar with your letter carrier jacket on. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
What are the rules of that?
I don't think you can do that because I have a letter carrier hat. Actually, it was the one that blew off in your boat. I don't have it anymore. And I was told to not tell anybody. I don't have it anymore, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I was told to not tell people I had a letter carrier hat because they're not supposed to give out their uniform.
Or that's like federal property.
Yeah,
right?
it's very strict.
Well, now if you're in the military, I know that those people that wear their military outfit or suit.
Well, you wear it when you're panhandling, and I think it's very odd. You were never in the military.
So, but you know what I'm talking about? Like they put on their.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, August's dad puts on his military outfit when he gets autographs.
It's that blue. It's like
military dress blues.
Yeah. The dress blues.
It looks very nice, very handsome, very fitting. The Marines have the best one. Theirs is tight.
But there was a time where you wear that. Even if you were going to a civilian affair, right? Like you went to a wedding or something.
I think there are rules when you are supposed to put on, or you may. Like you may wear it. I don't know if you have to, but I think. Yeah,
so if you're wearing your military blues, can you drink the open bar at the wedding and get drunk?
I'm going to bet that it's case by case, obviously, but I'm going to bet there are military rules on how you behave in said dress blues. Yeah.
Well, how you behave is one thing. You know, they don't want you to get drunk and pull your D out. So
but they don't. They do not want. No, they do.
But
not
it's
want
like,
you to do
are
that.
you not supposed to even be
We
seen with
we
a
need
drink?
a military guy. We got a lot of Marines that listens. We got to get one of our military buddies to give us the heads up on that.
Back to Cheers. So then there was the mailman. Then there's Frasier. He was in there.
He comes
He
later.
was a subsequent character.
I am on the first episode of season 2. We made it all the way through season 1, which sounds weird, right? You're like, oh, you made it through season 1. Congratulations, little baby. There are like 25 episodes in season 1.
Yeah, I think total there's like 275 episodes.
Like back in the day when they did a season, it was like 20 episodes.
They still
13.
do that.
There's no 7.
For like ABC, NBC, all the main ones, there's still like 20-something
Good.
episodes, dude.
It should
It's
be
too
that
much.
way. Make those actors work.
Is it all just dialogue for the most part?
Yeah, except this season we noticed the first season of Cheers is all in the bar, right? Bar, 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 bar. You never go anywhere other than the bar. Never. In this one, the first episode, you can tell they got some money or they wanted to try something different because you see Diane's apartment for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Which leads me to the most uncomfortable thing we witnessed, which is Sam Malone, and I go, my God. I turn to my wife and go, my God. He kicks her door in because he wants to teach her what women really like, which is a man who's forceful.
Yeah, this is.
So he kicks her door off the effing hinges, and then he picks her up, physically grabs her, carries her to the bedroom to make love to her, and then she says, like, the whole moral of the story at the very end was that she was like, she like, you're not gonna watch it, right?
No.
So she pretends like she's calling the police to get him arrested for kicking her door in and being and he's like freaking out.
And also pretending like he's about to rape her? I mean, what?
Right, I know, it's weird. It is very
That's her
weird.
fetish, right?
And then,
Oh
no,
my God.
hold on a second. Tom's on to something. At the end of the episode, right? She tells him that she never called the cops. She was only just trying to make him poop his pants, right? And then she looks at him and is like, I really liked it when you scooped me up.
No, yeah.
And the whole moral of the
Well,
story is women like to be scooped up and almost thrown in the bed.
So
It's crazy, dude.
So
It's crazy. You could never do that.
hold
now.
on. Sam, do you have the episode plot up?
I do.
Okay, let's read
I'm
that.
trying to
because-
find the.
It's long, but
So did he? in the episode, was he just trying to impress her?
Okay.
Or was he mad at her
I
all?
can
Or
make
he's just like, I'm going to go
He's
kick
mad
her?
at her. I can make a deeper case, though. He's mad at her because he's kind of like, who does she think she is? She's going to resist old Big Sam Malone with his big baseball D. So he goes back to the bar after they sort of break up and gets fired up with the gang. Now, he's a recovering alcoholic. There is no drinking going on here, but I'm just, in my scenario, he goes back to the
alcoholic that
bar.
works at a bar.
Well, he owns a bar. And he comes back, and they start telling him, like, oh, we can't believe you did this. What happened to the Sam Malone we like? So he gets all puffed up,
does that
right?
even mean?
And he's like, I'm going to go back there, and I'm going to give her the what for. I'm going to show her what a real man does. So he goes there, and he bangs on the door, and he's like, open up. We got to talk. He's like, I'm warning you, open this door. I'm going to kick it off the hinges. So he kicks the door in. He runs in. He scoops her up. He gives her like a kiss. So then she says, will you give me a moment so I can go put on something a little more flimsy? So she goes into their room. He's sitting outside. He's like, yes, I did it. I finally gave her the what for. She goes in and puts on lingerie, right? She comes back out.
Oh, my
And he's like, who
God.
were you talking to in there? And she's like, I called the police. They're going to be here in a minute. They're going to arrest you for kicking in the door. And he's like, all pooping his pants, right? Well, then she puts on a pot of coffee. Then they sit down on the couch. And then she's like, I never really called the cops. You pooped your pants. I like being picked up like that. And I'm like, what the hell just happened?
And so it worked. Oh, yeah. It taught a generation of boys. They were like, here's what you do. If they don't like it, you
Force them.
you kick their door down.
Yeah, it's not good. Don't get me started on the other episode where Norm starts going in about how they're going to change Cheers into a gay bar, and he's real mad about it. He's mad. and he says, it's so funny because
he's mad in the show and in real life.
No, but he says things like this. He's like, oh, God, next thing you know, they'll have a bunch of plants around here, you know. It's a lot of that.
I had to explain to my sons this morning during breakfast who Pepe Le Pew was.
Why did you have to do that?
Because
he's in Space Jam. He's the lead character.
They asked, and Pepe Le Pew got brought up, and then Crystal's like,
but
Pepe.
How'd they get brought up, and why did they ask?
Well, Tom, he makes them.
I was showing him my
salute a flag of Pepe Le Pew.
I was showing him some memes, and then I was like, "Look at my."
You turned into? I thought you hated mom memes.
Look at my new snake flag. It's yellow snake flag. I don't know. It's something. And then I was showing him my Pepe Le Pew memes about how mad I am about how
Pepe Le Pew memes.
Why are you getting rid of Pepe Le Pews?
Yeah. And then Chris was like, he's a skunk and he likes girls a lot. I don't know what it was.
He's a skunk and he likes girls a lot.
And then I'm like, well, that doesn't explain much. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, he doesn't. Even when they say no, he's still chasing them. And then she was trying to use it as a teaching moment. It's like when someone says no, you have to
respect.
When someone says no, you just do what old Sam Malone does. You
kick the door down. Jesus, man.
Pew and Malone.
Pew and Malone in the morning. Getting stinky with Pew and Malone. Hey, what's up? It's me, Pepe. How you doing, Pew? Coming in hot this morning. We got a 2 for Tuesday coming up later. We're going to play the brand new single by The Offspring. Haven't heard from those guys in a minute.
And then Crystal was doing the impression of the girl skunk, but she was doing it.
It sounded like a Japanese porn star.
Yeah. She was like, oh no, Pepe, don't do that.
You guys were doing weird role play in your kitchen for your kids' breakfast?
Most effed up family.
What kind of
kids are just trying to
household
eat?
is this?
His boys are just trying to eat Lil Yachty's Reese's Poofs. And that's what they changed the name to, by the way.
No.
Yeah. I buy it for my daughter. It's her favorite cereal because we're junk people. My daughter, every morning, she has a big bowl of Lil Yachty's Reese's Poofs and a Diet Pepsi.
Pepe Le Pew role play over here.
Every morning, the way I feel about my athlete daughter, bowl of Little Yachty's Reese's Poofs and Diet Pepsi. Pepsi Zero. It's Pepsi Zero. I'm not an animal.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what Kareem Hunt grew up with.
I just Googled Marshawn Lynch breakfast, and that's what came up. And I'm like, well, she's ready to go.
Let's do another voicemail.
Okay, I love it. It's funny, man. It's Cheers. You couldn't do it anymore. You just couldn't do it. They do little disclaimers. Everything's disclaimers now.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's on there. I'm glad I get to watch it. You know, I mean.
Well, you should look at that and be like, wow, it's good that this is shocking because it means we progress somewhere, right? If it was the par for the course, you're like, wow,
Nothing wrong with that.
they're still holding on to the traditions that I love. You know what I'm saying?
I think
that's worse than being like, oh my God, look how bad it was. That means we're good, or not good, but we're better.
Learning,
better than we were.
Well, there's progression there, right? I mean, that's what you look for. If there was none, you'd be like, uh-oh. You're like, that's not good.
Yeah.
Let's try this one.
Hey, Tom and Dan, Sam. I was listening to ACT and you guys were talking about weddings and, all the ridiculousness with weddings. I hope my wedding was a labor of love and just pulling every freebie card we could possibly get. My husband worked at a brewery here in Brevard County. The brewery was like, hey, we just redid the courtyard. How about you have the wedding here? Perfect. My husband used to work at a coffee shop. We're like, hey, can we borrow a bunch of tables and chairs? Sure. There you go. Free tables and chairs. Free venue. Beer and wine. The owners of the brewery were like, you know what? Here's your gift for the wedding. We'll just cover all the beer and wine.
Nice.
Dang. Okay. Then I made our cake. I made the food. I didn't make the food. Big Tim Murphy, my friends, came in with his hot dog truck. We had hot dogs.
No. Wait, hold on.
I'm sorry. If I have hot dogs at your wedding, I'm talking trash about that wedding.
You had me up until Big Tim Murphy was
what's funny
serving hot
is
dogs.
when you could out-trash Tom, it's...
See,
I've never seen you be that rattled. You don't like hot dogs like I do. I'm a hot dog mun.
I think she lost the whole point of our wedding conversation, which was...
This is my friend. How dare you?
Don't spend a bunch of money on an event or a party that you don't even really like, or just because it's tradition. You know what I'm saying?
Like you're actually.
Well, we weren't saying don't spend any money.
Pretty fun.
Yes, although once you get into that mindset of I'm going to try to do this as cheap as possible, you can spend some money on like, hey, get a food truck to cater it.
That's what my buddy Dave did.
You could do something where it's nothing against Big Tim Murphy's hot dogs.
Hey, Tom and Dan.
Oh, there it is.
Sam.
So I've noticed with this computer is that if you pause a voicemail, it'll just decide when it wants to restart it. It'll just be like, nah, we're doing
That's good.
Because at a certain point, you're trying to do a traditional wedding style event, and you're trying to do it on so much of the cheap that then it becomes awkward for your guests, right? So your guests show up, and then you're still doing the, the whole traditional thing. You get married, you do the reception, you have the beers there, but then it's like, all right, if you're hungry, there's a hot dog cart over here, and just sit wherever you want. We never any chairs, and there's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're standing eating your hot dog at the bar, and
What
then
was
you're
the
like,
food?
why did you do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you follow the format? But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like.
Like the Wizard.
I like a hot dog. I like a beer, but it's like what
at a football game, baseball game. One of the ones that threw me for a loop, because we're all different. The Wizard, he had cut stumps.
Oh yeah, the
for
stumps.
chairs.
Yeah, I've seen
I thought that was gonna be way more white trash than it actually was
for the wedding. But when I heard that, like, I don't care who you are. My buddy Dave had a stump too. It's a hipster thing. It is.
Yeah.
I think some people probably paid $900 for stumps, just for the stumps.
I'm just gonna say it. Whether you're a rich person buying overpriced stumps, or whether you're the hipster making your stumps by hand, or whether you're just the poor person that really needs the stumps, I'm anti-stump.
Okay.
Even though I am
Patrick
shaped,
Stump?
I'm shaped like a stump. I am anti-stump. Patrick Stump, I am pro-fat Patrick Stump. I am anti-skinny Patrick Stump.
What about my old manager, Forrest Stump?
I am pro-Forrest Stump because he emailed me one day and begged me to please stop calling him Forrest Stump.
That's his
and
name.
Then, I know, but referring to it and going, Rod Forrest, and doing because we would do jokes, bully this person. I don't even know him and never met him.
We were just saying, why even go through the traditional wedding if you're going to do something totally different? Just do it different. You don't try to do it on the cheap and then still follow the protocol of tradition, right? Like do it on the cheap and then just do something totally different. Yeah, make it.
Dance as if no one is watching. Is what I say.
Hello, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Butler. It's
Where'd he
Canadian
come
Josh. I wanted to ask you guys if you have ever done a THC reset.
No.
Take a little break. I'm currently on week number 4 of no alcohol and THC. Not for any particular reason, just I'm at work on an extended rotation and I have to be sober 24/7. So having done resets in the past, I am looking forward to returning to the real world where I can partake, because I do know that around 3 to 5 milligrams will knock me on my ass. So now I know your default response is going to be S on my point and say never quit, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I do recommend it. Takes you back to baseline. It's a good lesson in delayed gratification. Also gives you a little bit more respect for THC, because it does bring to light the fact that it is an addictive substance. That is very apparent during your first week of quitting.
What?
Cold turkey. You have some really unpleasant withdrawal symptoms. Anyway, I'll hang out and listen. Love you guys. BDM for life.
No, I've
I
never
think
had
Butler
any.
claims that he does these little THC breaks, but I don't
No.
believe
His
him.
eyes say different.
Yeah, yeah. He ain't breaking nothing.
Yeah.
They're breaking toilets. That's what they're doing.
But I've known people where they're like heavy drinkers and they're like, I'm taking a break from drinking.
They'll die.
But they're still drinking. They're just taking a break from drinking so heavily.
To black out, yeah.
Like with insane amount of drinking.
Yes.
So they're taking a break. It's like, oh, I still have like 5.5 beers a day.
Right.
But I'm not having 18 beers.
And
that's
shots
the,
on top,
That's
yeah.
the break.
Yeah, like I'll do
So
like
it's like
for this year I did January and February pretty much, other than special events, completely clean, not even a drink. Then it starts creeping back because you want to introduce it back into your life. So now I try to do like weekends. This week I think I've just decided just to throw it to the wolves and just go all in like nothing matters. And then I'll reset again. The THC thing though, I've never like, I think I've naturally taken a break just because I just won't be into it.
Really?
Do you
Just
ever do
like
that? There are
No,
times
no.
that I'm just not into it. That I'm just like, and then I'm just tired. I don't need it, and I fall asleep.
Tired? Oh, no. I need a reason to do anything. So it's like Canadian Josh, like, I don't know why I took a break. I just took a break. I don't work like that. I have to have a reason. It's like got to be monetary or.
He said he was on call or whatever, and he had to be sober for work. So
Okay,
that's
well
why.
that's a
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
I
but-
love that you didn't listen to me.
It was
He did
too
what-
high to listen to.
He said, I don't know. He's like, I don't know why he did it.
Well, he said no particular reason other than being on an
Right.
extended. He did say a little of both
Okay,
to hit
all right.
both of your points.
But anyway, it's just like, so if the reason is, all right, if you didn't.
I think it's to help with like tolerance, right? Because you'll start to
Yeah.
build up a tolerance, and then it takes more and more to work. So then you take
Yeah.
a break, and then when you reset, you don't have to take as much.
Like my reset is typically from around 3 a.m. until right around 6 p.m. No THC.
okay.
6 p.m. Oh man,
Yeah, and also
we open, baby.
I'm sensitive to THC anyway, so I don't have that problem where like Butler has to do 100 milligrams a day to make it worth his while. Like
Right.
I could still do 20 milligrams and be stony baloney out of my
Really,
mind.
man,
Oh yeah,
I can't. No.
I've always been sensitive to it. Like if I take even more than that, it'll just, I'll get
Too
too
far,
high, and then
yeah.
I'll be like, "Oh, bring it back."
No, never bring it back. Always leave it there.
Yeah, I haven't said bring it back in a while.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's
That
been
was
a
like
long.
2
Wait
years
a
ago.
minute,
What
what are you up to
that
now,
was
buddy?
pre-pandemic. During the pandemic, you're 150 milligrams a day.
I got some new that CBN.
You got
sativa,
those gummies. They're always out. Give me some.
but that
Oh, you're not allowed to do that.
I made a mistake. I took 2 because I was like CBN. That's nothing. So,
CBN's a news network.
but it did. It had the THC, but I thought that it was gonna be. I was like, I need 2 because I obviously been doing this for
I do
years.
that with vitamins. I do that with everything. Advil 1, take 2. Advil 2, take 4.
And then I was sitting on the couch. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm super high. I gotta hide it. I can't. My wife can never know that I'm that high.
Yeah.
Like sometimes in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my god, like I'm higher than any human's ever been." But I have to just sit and
How
hide
do
it.
you hold it together?
What do you
around her?
say in your brain to yourself?
No, how do you even talk to her? Are you slow or you're like, I will go wipe the table down after dinner?
It feels like I am giving it away, but that's because I'm high and paranoid in my mind. So
Is it
I don't think she
hard?
noticed. No, because
Is
it's
it
not
difficult?
It's hard to do it with the high being too drunk because you're slurring,
Yeah,
right?
I can't. I can
When-
never do
When
it.
you're too high, you're just on the verge of a panic attack or anxiety attack. so you're not slurring or anything. So I think only
And he's
am
already
freaking
not
out.
listening to her on the reg, even when he's sober. So when he's high, and he's got to be like, "What? I'm sorry. What'd you say?" Like it just seems normal, right?
No, well, because
No?
then I'm extra sensitive to not having her like ignore her or give any
Yes.
clues.
So you listen more.
Yeah,
when you're
yeah. I
high.
just
So you
because-
should be high all the time.
It's like
Okay.
not that anybody should do this. Like the urban legend of you drive high, you drive under the speed limit, and you stop at green lights. You're extra cautious, right?
Right.
Because you're
Okay.
paranoid.
Yeah, that's like
so
a,
you can get
a
extra
stereotype.
cautious.
Sure,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard that before. Yeah, I'm not
you
saying
get
you're
extra
saying.
like affectionate and say nice things to her when you're high.
Yeah.
You try and
No,
You get
because that-
horny. You
that-
get horny, don't you?
That's that would be acting weird. Do you see what I'm
Okay,
saying? Like
okay.
Yeah, that would be acting weird.
ju-
Because that's not you.
I just text Crystal this morning.
Neither's
I-
listening
I
to her,
just
but
said,
apparently does that when he's high.
out of random, I said, I love you, right? Because
Oh
I'm
my god, how long did it take you to write that?
because I remembered, I was like, oh, you know what I should do?
That would make me think something's wrong with
Yeah,
you. Like, are you dying? What
Well,
happened?
wait a minute, my
Yeah, she
wife
said,
sent
"In a
me
car
that this morning
accident?"
too. What time did you send yours? Are you and my wife in cahoots,
Oh.
or were you cheating? And then you were both together and like, I know what'll
He
throw
was
him.
late today.
Yeah, and then they're like, I know what'll throw him off the scent. Text each other's partners that we love
Yes.
them. And then my wife texted me.
Wait a minute. Were you cheating with Andrew this
I
morning?
think you were. My wife texted me.
Yes, I was.
She just, oh my god! She sends me this. Says just sending you a note of love and with a teddy bear's.
Oh yeah, that's what Ruchi.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I recorded it. I'm
It's
going to show
better.
you later.
All right. Yeah. I
That's,
prefer to just be alone when I watch this. If that's okay, because
Yeah,
it's just more efficient that way.
and it made it look like it was being recorded from inside a closet from the slats.
Oh, no.
That's
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
What'd you get?
That's
like Busey's one of Busey's goons to hold the camera for you? or-
Then I walk into the room. Well, actually, I have someone walk into the room
right.
as if it was you, and then I'm.
It's me.
That's a whole thing with those.
Yeah,
those,
it is a
yeah.
whole thing.
You're like, they're already doing it, and then the husband just walks in and then walks out. You're like, all right, why'd you do that?
Here's a hot take.
Weird.
Every little person porno that's ever popped up while I've been partaking, and this is unfair, but they make the little person perform normally in the backyard. They don't let them inside the house. That's you shouldn't do
I
that.
know the one you're talking about.
You
Is
do
that
know the
is
one.
that
It's the big girl, yes.
Yeah, like a Brazilian one or
Yes,
like
and
South
she's
America.
full sized, and he's a little man.
Yeah,
and it's in the backyard,
Yes, yeah. I
and
see that.
it looks.
But that's like a South
it's-
American, like
it's
Brazilian
terrible,
thing
yeah.
here. They're
like, don't let him in the house.
they're still living in the 80s, the late 80s.
They are. They still fling the N-word.
Oh,
Not the
yeah.
N-word. The
Oh.
M-word.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
all words probably. I don't know.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Brazil doesn't care.
They're
They,
open, baby. They've been
oh,
open,
they
baby.
got COVID real bad. They're bad. It's like you know what we shouldn't do? Make everybody sick in some very impoverished areas. They have no health care.
tight. It's
Yeah,
tight
it's
there.
real bad. It's where like 13-year-old guns and running around.
Yeah.
I've seen that. You ever watch that movie? Sam, have you seen that? The
Which one?
Brazilian movie. It's subtitled. It's about
City of God?
City of
Oh
God.
God!
yeah.
Yes, I have seen that.
Yes.
Why you
Yeah.
want me to watch that right now? Or
That's a rough.
it is.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, my God, my sons are snowflakes compared to these
Yeah.
kids. Like, oh man, it's
My daughter doesn't know how to clean her guns.
I don't know. Maisie, she would last
No.
longer than Tommy.
Not
My
too
God.
long. No. She's very, very easy to make her cry.
Let's do one more.
One more?
voicemail.
All right.
And then
Let's try this guy right here.
Hey gang, it's Zach from Ohio. An unopened, factory-sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers on the NES just sold for $600,000. I think about this all the time. How many just like factory-sealed video games do people have lying around? You know, it's like in somebody's grandma's basement, and
They don't really even know.
I don't know, but I found something yesterday
She
in the
did.
trash that's worth some money, and now I'm going to flip that baby.
what?
Yeah, she and I saw this one this morning. I'll let you see your story. Sam. It's awesome.
My neighbor was throwing away a BMX bike. I thought about just snagging it for myself. Talked myself out of it because painted on the side, it had a General Lee on the side of it. So I was like, I'm going to let that one pass. But I posted it in the semantics group, and everyone's like, you need to snag that. That's worth a bunch of money. And it's like $530 MSRP.
Yeah, they just stopped making those bikes this
and
year
it's like
because
brand
of
new.
the name.
There's nothing wrong with
A
it.
Confederate flag BMX bike?
I mean, it used to have a Confederate flag. Now it's just orange, and it says the 01 and General Lee on the side.
Oh, it's just the General Lee.
It's not meant to be. It's DK BMX Bikes is the company, and they make this bike called a General Lee that's been around for 20 years. Like it's not a new frame.
Yeah.
And they just decided this year because and I think they'd been phasing it out for at least the last 5. They like changed the way it looked. You know, it's kind of like the whole Dr. Seuss thing. I think there are plenty of people that want to like go, oh my God, but it was always the plan. You know what I mean? Like it was always the plan to phase this out. So they're phasing out this bike
now. What?
Yeah, it is like that.
I'm just gonna scream. I'm gonna scream now. What about everything?
All right.
But she found one, and I guess if you're into that sort of thing, it is a collector's item bike that's no longer made, and it's a damn good bike.
So, did you get it?
Yes, I did.
And did your neighbor see you rummaging through their trash?
No, it was nighttime.
Oh,
we went like a thief in the night, buddy.
Yeah, you jump on that in your nightgown and ride it right into your garage, and then you hit the garage as you're coasting in.
So, are you going to put it up on eBay?
Right now, I already have interest in it from that thread in the semantics group, so I may already have that sold.
Yeah, I think it's sold.
Well, hold on.
I mean, if I don't, I'll...
You're going to put it up in the open market to let old Tom Van take a bid at it.
You want a BMX bike?
Hold on. You're just going to
I
sell
don't
it
even know
to
if
someone...
you know how to ride a bike.
Without, I mean, who knows? Someone in Japan might want to buy this for $1,000.
That's too much work for me.
But putting it up on eBay?
I'll box it up.
Shipping it to Japan?
I'll do it.
Well, they'll pay for it. That'll be part of the eBay. Like, you pay for shipping.
Then I got to go to the post office. The whole thing.
Post office? What is it? Like, this could be a collector's item.
Mailboxes, etc., and you let the fat lady there do it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be. Is there another one that you could see online that?
Yeah, there's tons of them on eBay and stuff for going for like $1,000, but none of them have sold that high. I think the most that one sold at was in the $400 and $500 range.
I mean, I think they just stopped making them. Like
last
I want to say
year,
April 2020.
Yeah.
You know.
Now you're gonna have to make a ghost eBay account because you don't want that to be your only the history of sales.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I have a ghost eBay account.
You go out there like one sale, one General
one
Lee.
racist bike.
I'll make a Tom and Dan Live eBay account.
Yeah, that's not it.
Let's see their view.
One racist BMX bike.
I've sold it for $69. Interesting.
So you're just gonna offload it to some BDM who's gonna resell it $1,000.
It's not a BDM. It's a Smelly-It.
Ah,
I know you think all your listeners.
I don't know. You're gonna sell it to Mr. Elliott?
Correct.
All right.
One more?
Easiest transaction for me.
Let's do one more. Let's try this one. It is Zach from Ohio again, but he brings up something kind of interesting that I did, in fact, forget about.
Hey gang, it's Zach from Ohio. Do you guys remember back in the day when you had to pay for a certain amount of text messages? When if the message was too long, it would automatically make a second message? So that's why I would really, as a teenager, abbreviate what I was saying. Instead of your, I would type UR and all the things like that. Also...
Do you remember that?
Yes.
I do. I don't think I had a plan. I got a cell phone late, like it was at 2001. So that may have been before, because when I got the cell phone, it was unlimited text messaging, I think.
I don't think so in 2001.
Man, I
can
can
right.
I can remember when text messages were like seemingly like a weird thing. Like I can remember texting somebody, pardon me, this show is so friggin' boring. I can remember having like a Nextel and having to use the alphanumeric text.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I had to do that too. Yeah.
And I hated it. Like I remember it was like easier just to call people. And it was only when we got keyboards on all of our phones that we switched over to typing.
So I probably had some sort of pay per text, but I never used it because I remember my phone. You'd have the text using the number pad.
Was your first cell phone the stunt phone?
No.
Because I remember that did have an unlimited plan because I remember we let that thing go and it was an awesome scam, man. You had that thing. You used that thing
3 years.
Crazy.
Well, I got rid of my phone when I got the stunt phone because it had a better plan, and then it fell between the cracks, and I just had it for years until some stinking sales just was going through like spring cleaning her damn account thing, and like, what is this Nokia account? And then they looked it up, and then they called the phone. I'm like, hello? They're like, who is this?
I believe that the person who'd set that up for you, and we loved her, was Patty Siebert, and the person who shut it down for you was when Sarita worked there, and I think she had taken over an account. That's the dumb stuff I do remember. Is the stuff I don't need to remember.
I don't remember who it was, but I remember being so mad that they found it, and they're like, "Oh, this thing's been open for years!" Like, and then they did the weird, awkward
thing.
This
has been open since the Einstein Brothers Bagels free bagel commercial you did for weather that ran for 6 extra months.
And then I did the weird thing where I pretended like I did. I'm like, "Oh, I thought this promotion was so good." They're like, "Have you been using this phone for years?" And
Yes,
and I'm like, "No, it's been."
Say, can you see? Oh, I'll make up right now.
I just like nobody told me to give it back.
I was like, no, I was just in the drawer. This was the show stunt phone. It was like my University of Central Florida had it as my primary number. You know what I'm saying?
For everything.
Like the
it was the only number I had for you. I get a text message from this guy. He's like, I'm going to be off the grid until I get a phone.
And you know what stinks is they're like, oh, okay, well, it's shutting down right now. They didn't even give me a little bit of time.
They did not.
To tell.
We'll give you 1 hour. No, they gave you nothing.
Yeah. Luckily, that was before texting, really, so I didn't have to do that thing that Bad at Life people do, where they have to send out a random text to your old contact list saying that you have a new number.
Yeah. Oh my god! Okay, one of my favorite Twitch chat names is Abraham Dragonfriend. Says, "Laugh out loud! I won a fast texter contest from 95.3 once. The prize was Ricky Martin tickets.
Yes.
You
living La Vida
are
Loca.
awesome. You won a fast texting contest and got Ricky Martin tickets. That's dope.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Was it texting using the numeric pad? Because I remember when you had to text doing that.
You were good at it.
You go
if
to
it's Ricky Martin tickets, I'm going to say yes.
Tom was very good at alphanumeric text. I'll give him a compliment. He would. No, you were good, dude. I could never do it.
The phone that would slide out, and then it had the.
My wife had that.
Oh, I love that phone. I kind of want one.
And the T-Mobile Sidekick.
No, I didn't have. I wasn't rich enough to have a BlackBerry.
I was a T-Mobile Sidekick guy.
Nokia.
So mine would flip out weird. It would twist out. The T-Mobile Sidekick.
Yeah.
And then my wife had the phone you're talking about, where the keyboard would just pop out the bottom. That was a great phone. I want to say she had that phone for like 6 years. It was like a disgusting amount of time, and she almost cried when she got rid of it. She went from that phone to an iPhone. Mm-hmm. That's how long she held on to that phone.
Easier to text.
It was.
God.
Buttons are easier than screens.
It's amazing we didn't, like, back in those days when we all had the flip phones and the BlackBerry and the Sidekicks and stuff, like, we probably were talking a little bit about it, but no one could foresee, like, oh yeah, everything will just be in this device, all of everything that you need.
The internet wasn't as prevalent on your phone. Like, I use the web browser on my phone like crazy, right?
Yeah.
But my T-Mobile Sidekick, it had a web browser, but it was, first of all, it was like the screen resolution was garbage.
Right.
Seeing anything on the web, like, it's like
nothing was formatted correctly either for your phone.
It was like 3G technology. Everything was really, really slow. Like, even like looking, I do what every guy does. I try to look at porno on my T-Mobile Sidekick. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And no video capability whatsoever.
No.
The iPhone has changed that. The iPhone now, I mean, you can pop up adult content whenever, whatever. You want movies on it.
Whenever, wherever, Shakira.
Yeah.
And whenever, whatever, wherever. Maxwell.
And then you couldn't have foreseen how fast it would have caught up to itself. Or like, in 2003, when we all were dealing with this, in like 10 years, everybody had iPhones or smartphones, it's like, but back then it was like, no way.
Yeah.
Like you were like, it won't be that fast. Well, fast.
It's very fast. We have some weird listeners. R. Penny in our Twitch chat room says, I still use a flip phone as my alarm clock.
Why not just use your regular phone?
Yeah, my question to you would be why?
Yeah, that makes...
I mean, doesn't it look like just a piece of garbage sitting on your nightstand? Like, why not just use your phone or, I don't know, an alarm clock?
Yeah, but I mean, your own phone does everything.
But I'm saying if you didn't want to do it, alarm clock is
God.
acceptable and phone is acceptable, but old flip phone not acceptable.
EJ said he used to store porn on a Zune.
What
No,
is a
you
Zune?
didn't.
Yeah, he probably did. Zune was ahead of its time. It was a better iPod. It was. It just never. It didn't catch on. Betamax
didn't.
was a better VHS, but it didn't work.
Yeah, the marketing or whatever,
Didn't
the
work.
company. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the quality. We had Betamax at my house. It was great. I watched Indiana Jones in Betamax. My dad was pissed because I think that's the only one we ever owned.
no, really.
Well, it didn't go anywhere. And movies are expensive. Do you remember buying a movie? Dude, buying a movie was like $60, I want to say, or something.
I think it was like 30.
Yeah, when it first,
Yeah.
maybe I'm thinking Laserdisc, but it was
It's
expensive.
like $29.99 for like a new release.
My buddy Robbie's dad had a Laserdisc because he worked at
Nice.
he worked at Lockheed Martin. He was like a tech guy, and he was like one of the first people to have a Laserdisc player. But like our TVs weren't.
They were made for.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like the TV was advanced, so you would watch it on Laserdisc. But the only thing that would blow my mind is I was like, that information's on a disc.
Right.
It wasn't like the picture quality was like, oh my god, it's burning my eye. It was more like, I see it. Okay, it's ET, extraterrestrial, cool, but it's on Laserdisc. Oh, so it's on this ginormous platter. All right,
Yeah.
cool. That's the future.
Remember when they used to charge you like $160 if you didn't return a video? Because
Yes.
they deemed it as like, it's not what the actual video costs, but it's what we can make in revenue from this actual video. So it would be this ridiculous charge if you
Have
didn't.
you watched the last Blockbuster yet?
No.
I
Is
have
that
that
talking
in
about
queue.
it?
I have that in
good.
queue. I want to watch that. Goes to Minute Bull. You never cease to amaze me in our Twitch chat room. He says, and he must have been a Zune-man like EJ, you could share songs over Wi-Fi between Zunes, and the process was called squirting. They didn't market that name very
What?
well.
I never heard that.
Look that up. Yeah, like the Zune, I remember was very. I met a guy one time that had like a collection of Zunes. Like he was like a nerd, and he was incensed at how the iPod was such an inferior product and how it was obviously destroying and going to eventually, I guess, kill the Zune altogether, just based on pure.
It's true.
And it was a better, and he still uses his. He has a collection of them. He does campaigns and like sign this petition for them to remake the Zune. We need to bring these back. Like there are certain products. Have you ever known a product, Tom, where it may not be around anymore, but people are like, okay, I'll give you one that's still around, but people are like this about it.
Okay.
KitchenAid stand-up mixer. The KitchenAid stand-up mixer.
Yeah.
People like
Yeah.
they say you gotta have one. If you don't have one, you're not cooking right. You're not baking right.
But are they still making them?
They do,
Yes.
but if you have one, it's like you'll never need another one if you take care of it. It's not like you buy 1,000 of them or something.
Well, I love this aspect of products where every once in a while there'll be a product where at a specific time in history they made it in a certain way that's changed. The manufacturing has changed, and ever since the manufacturing changed, the product wasn't as good,
Right.
Because steel prices and whatever. So there's
Yes.
there is certain products where you're like, if you got it between.
Yeah.
No, 1989 and 2002, it was made out of pure American steel. You know what I'm saying? Like it was those type of things. Like this thing works the best because it was before the regulation. They had to do this. Saying if you got it, they're sought after. They're all over the internet. Like I love those types of things. I think there's always something like that.
Makes me wish my dad was still around to tell me all the differences. Like, for instance, lawnmowers. Our first Craftsman, I remember this one. Our first Craftsman riding lawnmower, the body was all metal, even the fenders. Our second Craftsman lawnmower was metal with plastic fenders.
Yeah.
Dad didn't like that at all.
Dude,
At all. And he never mentioned it to me. Ever.
We talked about this with dishwashers and stuff. Like everyone, when they started conserving water and stuff, I bet you there's certain brand of dishwasher pre-regulation. They're like, this dishwasher uses 18 gallons of hot water. You know what I'm saying? It's super inefficient, and it's like but it's probably clean. You could put old dog food a dish in there and it'll blow it right off. Like those type of things.
It's funny. Yeah, Sam just posted in our Twitch chat room if you want more information on Zune and the song squirt feature.
Yes.
It was a feature. She puts the whole thing in there. Other people it's funny because Zune is one of the only products I can think of where when I mention it, people still go, oh, I love that thing.
Yeah.
I love that thing. I love that thing. It's funny. I would like to have one. I don't know what I'd do with it, but
Is it just nostalgia though?
Yes.
Because your phone does everything
Right,
that thing
right.
could do and
you know,
better.
it does. But I do wish, as a music guy, and we got to get out of here. But as a music guy, I do wish that they still made, and I'm sure somebody does. And if you know about it, you can email me dan@tommydan.com. I want a designated MP3 player. I don't want my internet on it. I don't want.
Is there any difference?
I want it to just be something I can plug in and play music from. I don't want it to have any other distractions. I just want it only for music.
Could you get your phone to do that the same way an MP3 player would?
I think I could. I'd have to buy another phone or maybe find an old model.
Well,
I
no,
have.
with your current phone, but just take off. I mean, just disable any of the.
You could,
the-
but that's not what I want. I want like a. I wish they
Gotcha.
sold one. I'd be in the market for it. If they could bring the price point down, right? I don't need all the features. Just give me the hard drive with the ability to USB it and the Wi-Fi if I want to like download
Get a
songs.
Zoom, get an old school Zoom.
But there's certain features I want. I'm surprised that there aren't. You mean to tell me there are people that don't want a designated?
They probably just like
device?
I don't need another device. My phone does it all. I could put a million hours of music on my phone.
I guess, but then you don't need a record player. You don't need anything, right?
Right.
You could just.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Well, that's
I'm
what it
just
is.
saying, like, I'm sure they sell them. Somebody's got to sell one. But I just kind of wish Apple came out with one where they're like, here's a half a terabyte, 500 gigs for you. You put as much music on it. It's connected to Apple Music. That's all it does, and it's $90.
Yeah.
$70.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more corporate time.